There's a moment every gardener knows. It's the first week of June, you're looking at bare ground, and that sinking feeling sets in. Did I miss my window? Did the season pass me by? I've been there. I lost 60 tomato seedlings to a late frost one May, and standing in that empty garden in early June felt like defeat. But that summer taught me something that completely changed how I think about gardening. June is not too late. For the right crops, it's actually the perfect time to start. Today, I'm counting down 10 of the fastest growing crops you can plant right now, in the first week of June. That will give you real harvests, real food, and in some cases, real medicine before summer ends. I've saved the best for last, so stay with me because number 1 might genuinely surprise you. Before we dive in, drop a comment and tell me what US state you're gardening in this summer. I love seeing how different the growing experience is across this country, and it helps me create better content for all of you. Let's get into it. Number 10, bush beans. Bush beans are the definition of a perfect June crop. Here's the thing most people don't know. Bean seeds actually rot in cold soil. Gardeners who push them into the ground in April and wonder why nothing germinates are fighting the calendar. Bush beans want soil temperatures of 60 degrees or above, and in June, you've got exactly that across most of the country. From seed to harvest, you're looking at 45 to 60 days. Plant this week and you're picking beans by mid-July. In warmer zones, zone 7 and above, you can do a second planting in late July and harvest again in fall. For hot climates, Contender and Provider are your heat-tolerant workhorses. For the Midwest and Northeast, Blue Lake 274 is as reliable as it gets. Dragon Tongue is an heirloom worth trying. Stunning yellow and purple pods, excellent flavor, great heat tolerance. 2 things to know about growing bush beans well. First, they don't need a trellis. That's the beauty of bush types. Direct sow an inch deep, keep moisture consistent until germination, then back off slightly once they're established. Second, don't overwater. They want moisture but demand drainage. And here's the bonus that the homesteading community appreciates deeply. Beans are nitrogen fixers. They pull nitrogen from the atmosphere and deposit it into your soil through root nodules. When the season ends, you turn those roots back in and you've fertilized your garden for free. Food production and soil building from a $2 seed packet. Number 9. Zucchini and summer squash. Let's talk about these heavy producers. Summer squash germinates in 4 to 7 days in warm soil. First harvest comes in 40 to 50 days. At peak production, a single plant can give you multiple fruits per week. This is as close to instant gratification as vegetable gardening gets. But here's the mistake I see constantly. Planting too many. 2 to 3 plants per household is genuinely enough. 3 well-managed zucchini plants will produce more squash than most families can eat. Plant 10 and the garden becomes overwhelming. Fruits get missed. They grow to the size of a small child, and suddenly nobody wants to eat zucchini anymore. Be strategic. For variety, don't just default to Black Beauty every time. Costata Romanesco is an Italian heirloom with incredible nutty flavor. 8-Ball produces round fruits perfect for stuffing. Yellow crookneck handles southern heat beautifully. 2 enemies to watch for. Powdery mildew, that white dusty coating on the leaves, is best fought with airflow. Don't crowd your plants and remove lower leaves as the season progresses. Squash vine borers are the other challenge, especially east of the Mississippi. Row cover during early establishment is your best defense. Number 8, cucumbers. This classic garden staple is a must for June. There's something genuinely satisfying about pulling your first cucumber on a hot July afternoon. And the timing of a June planting is nearly perfect for cucumbers across almost every U.S. growing region. Like beans, cucumbers need warm soil to germinate reliably. Push them in too early and they stall. Plant in June and they establish fast, grow aggressively, and often catch up to earlier plantings within weeks. 50 to 65 days from seed to first harvest means late July production from a June 1st planting. The single most important thing I can tell you about cucumbers is this. Inconsistent watering is the cause of most cucumber problems. Bitter fruits, misshapen pods, blossom issues trace almost all of it back to irregular moisture. They want even, consistent watering, ideally through drip irrigation or a soaker hose at the base. Mulch heavily to retain moisture and regulate soil temperature. Give them something to climb. Vertically grown cucumbers have better airflow, less disease, and easier harvesting. A simple wire panel or stakes with twine is all you need. For variety, don't overlook national pickling if you ferment. Lemon cucumber is mild, nearly bitterless, and my kids eat them off the vine like apples. Armenian cucumber is technically a melon, but grows and tastes like a cucumber and handles extreme heat better than true cucumbers, essential for the South and Southwest. Number 7, sunflowers. Let's look at why these giants belong in every garden. Here's where we shift gears. Sunflowers won't fill your pantry for winter, but they belong on this list for reasons that go deeper than food. Sunflowers are native to North America. The genus Helianthus evolved on this continent, and the relationship between sunflowers and native bees is ancient. Over 70 species of native bees are supported by sunflowers, including specialists that have evolved specifically to collect sunflower pollen. When you plant a stand of sunflowers, you are building habitat. You are restoring something that belongs here. From a practical standpoint, giant varieties like Mammoth Russian produce large seed heads that feed songbirds through late summer and fall, goldfinches, chickadees, grosbeaks coming right to your garden. Multi-branching varieties like Lemon Queen can bloom for 6 to 8 weeks straight, making them long-season pollinator powerhouses. June is ideal timing because sunflowers respond to day length. Planted now, they grow through the longest days of summer and begin flowering as days shorten in late July and August. Perfect timing for peak pollinator activity. They're also among the most drought-tolerant plants on this list once established. A genuine asset for gardeners in the Southwest, Great Plains, and anywhere water is precious. Plant sunflowers this week, not just for beauty. Plant them because your garden ecosystem needs them. Number 6, Swiss chard. I want to make an argument for the most underrated summer green in American gardening. While your lettuce is bolting and your spinach turned bitter weeks ago, Swiss chard just keeps growing. Calmly, week after week. Chard is a member of the beet family, and it shares that family's remarkable heat tolerance. I have harvested it in 90-degree heat. I have watched it survive a light fall frost. It is the green that refuses to quit. 25 to 35 days from seed to first harvest, and once established, you never really finish harvesting. You cut outer leaves, the plant produces new ones from the center, and that single June planting feeds you continuously for 4 to 6 months. Rainbow chard, the mix of red, yellow, orange, and striped varieties, is one of the most visually striking plants in any garden. Stems that glow in sunlight like stained glass. I have seen it used as a border plant in ornamental beds. It is simultaneously practical food production and genuine beauty in a single planting. For preservation, it blanches and freezes beautifully. A large summer harvest can be processed into portions for soups, frittatas, and pasta dishes all winter. It grows when your freezer is empty and you need to stock it. That's exactly the kind of crop June gardeners need. Now here's what I want you to know before we get into the top 5. What you've seen so far are excellent crops. Reliable, productive, proven. But the 5 plants remaining on this list are genuinely on another level in terms of versatility, impact, and what they can do for your garden, your health, and your homestead. Especially the final 3, so stay with me. It gets significantly better from here. Number 5, basil. Basil is tropical at its core. It comes from India and Southeast Asia. It loathes cold temperatures. And it thrives in exactly the conditions June provides across most of the United States. Seeds sown this week will germinate in 5 to 7 days. You'll have your first real harvest within 3 to 4 weeks, but the productivity principle is this. The more aggressively you harvest, the more it produces. Every time you pinch a stem tip, the plant responds by sending out 2 new stems from below the cut. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4. A single well-managed plant can produce continuously for 3 to 4 months. The key is preventing flowering. Once basil bolts, the flavor shifts to bitter and resinous. Walk through your basil every few days and pinch any stem tips showing flower buds. Stay one step ahead of that tendency and the plant stays productive all season. For the medicinal herb growers, holy basil, or tulsi, is Ocimum tenuiflorum, closely related to culinary basil and one of the most revered adaptogenic herbs. Many homesteaders grow it specifically for daily herbal tea, and the research on its potential effects on stress response and immune support is genuinely interesting. For preservation, make pesto in July and freeze it in ice cube trays. That's fresh basil flavor all winter in a single afternoon of work. Number 4, okra. If you've only ever eaten okra from a can, I understand the hesitation, but fresh okra, grown in your own garden and eaten well, is remarkable. And it is absolutely perfectly suited to a June planting. Okra is African in origin. It evolved in conditions of intense heat and relentless sun. When your cucumbers are struggling in 95-degree heat and your squash plants look exhausted in August, your okra plants will be taller, flowering more heavily and producing more than you can keep up with. Heat doesn't just not bother okra, it drives it. From seed to first harvest, approximately 50 to 65 days. And once okra starts producing, it doesn't stop until frost. In Zone 7 and warmer, you can harvest from late July all the way through October. That is an extraordinary productive window. Harvest young and harvest often. Check plants every 2 to 3 days. Pods go from perfect to fibrous in less than a week in peak summer heat. Roasting and grilling at high heat minimizes any textural issues and produces okra that even skeptics tend to enjoy. And on the nutritional and medicinal side, the mucilaginous compounds in okra have been studied for potential blood sugar stabilization, digestive support, and cholesterol binding. Okra water, a traditional remedy, is increasingly the subject of serious scientific interest. This is a plant with deep roots in both food culture and healing tradition. Number 3. Moringa. Moringa oleifera grows at a rate that defies what American gardeners expect from a tree. It can grow 1 to 2 feet per week. A seed planted in early June can reach 12 to 15 feet by September in a warm climate. I have watched seedlings add height within days. It is the fastest growing woody plant most will ever encounter. The nutritional profile earned it the nickname Miracle Tree. Moringa leaves contain complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids. Gram for gram, they provide more vitamin C than oranges, more calcium than milk, more iron than spinach, and more vitamin A than carrots. It's been used in nutrition programs worldwide specifically because of this density. As a dried shelf-stable powder you can add to smoothies, soups, and sauces. It is genuinely one of the most nutrient-dense plant foods on Earth. Critical point, moringa is tropical and does not survive frost. As a permanent tree, it's only viable in zones 9B through 11. In cooler zones, grow it as a summer annual in a container, harvest leaves through summer, dry and powder them for winter nutrition. Save seed to replant next June. You will still get meaningful harvests. This is a plant with 6,000 years of human cultivation behind it. Number 2. Sweet potatoes. They have been cultivated in the Americas for over 5,000 years, one of the most calorie-dense crops. Plant in the first week of June and they root quickly, establish their sprawling vines, and spend the summer quietly building an extraordinary harvest. Plant in the first week of June and they root quickly, establish their sprawling vines, and spend the summer quietly building an extraordinary harvest. 90 to 100 days to maturity means a June planting produces roots ready in September, right before fall frost in most gardens. Here's the detail most miss. The leaves are edible and nutritious. Loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, they are eaten regularly in much of Africa and Asia. Georgia Jet is great for northern gardeners. Beauregard is the standard. Purple varieties like Okinawan are loaded with antioxidants. Here's the detail most miss. The leaves are edible and nutritious. Loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, they are eaten regularly in much of Africa and Asia. Harvesting the growing tips also stimulates the plant to produce more lateral shoots and larger tubers. You're getting 2 crops from one planting. A 20-foot row can yield 100 pounds or more. Properly cured and stored, they keep for months. Real food security. And now, number 1. The fastest growing, most ecologically significant, most genuinely underappreciated crop you can plant in June. Buckwheat. 30 to 40 days from seed to full flower, faster than anything else. And when it flowers, it buzzes. A stand in full bloom produces a hum. From seed to harvestable grain, 10 to 12 weeks. Buckwheat grain can be ground into gluten-free flour for pancakes and noodles. Its roots dissolve phosphate minerals that are unavailable to other plants. It functions as a biological phosphorus miner, improving long-term soil health. It also establishes so fast it shades out weeds. You get weed suppression, pollinator support, soil improvement, and potential grain harvest. I want to tell you something personal. The first time I grew a full stand, I stopped at the edge of that field because of the sound. Just an extraordinary hum. Thousands of bees from multiple species, butterflies moving through. This is what my land is supposed to sound like. Buckwheat served the whole system. The first week of June is not a deadline. It's an open door. These plants cover food, medicine, habitat, soil health, and beauty. Pick 2 or 3. What are you planting this June? Drop your state and your top crop in the comments. Share this with someone who gardens. I'll see you in the next one.